So, you're having trouble in your meetings, and group work is something that you don't like. Well, I want to put my last word here in about teamwork. And it is very important that we learn to work within teams, even though they are frustrating. And there are some tools that you can use to alleviate log jams that happen in your meetings. Uh, in, Most of you said that you were frustrated in your meetings because they don't go anywhere, or there's too many sidebars, or too many rabbit holes, too much interaction, and not enough results. And so let's take a look at some ways that we can alleviate that. The first is try to set your meetings up in a framework of problem solving. Usually, if there's a problem that people can look at, like for instance, there's not enough blood in the hospitals for blood, there's not enough blood donations for emergency use. Now, whether you're a Democrat or Republican or liberal or conservative, or a man or a woman, or you're African American or Asian American, you can agree that there's a problem there. So normally, if you focus on a problem, uh, you can get a group to work together towards a solution. And so John Dewey did a lot of research on problem solving. He came up with this method of define the problem, establish criteria, which simply means just what are the parameters of the problem, and then go out and find research that overcomes the problem, and then create a solution. And once you create that solution, implement it and kind of evaluate it. And if it needs tweaking, then go ahead and tweak it. Now, in the modern world, we see this more in a circular motion because we're going to continually improve the process, much like Apple iPhone 13. I don't know what it is, X or whatever, started off with Apple iPhone. And so there's a continuous improvement of the process. And this will help alleviate some of the log jams if you go to problem solving methods. There's a link here that you can check out. It gives you more information on some of the things I'm talking about here today. But I think everybody that's ever going to go to work should learn Dewey's process of problem solving. So let's go back to our presentation. And the first thing I can tell you is don't just sit there in your meetings. If you have a flip chart, a whiteboard, a chalkboard, whatever it is, everybody get up and go to it and try to get the group to look at the same thing at the same time instead of looking down at their own notes or at one another. This posture tends to drive groups to become teams. The other thing is pass the pen around, whether it's a piece of chalk, a mouse, or a highlighter, whatever it is, pass it to different people as they have ideas and have them draw their suggestions or corrections on the whiteboard, chalkboard, or computer. Now, here's some tools to break log jams, and there's hundreds of tools. So I'm not going to go through all the tools today. I would love to teach a class in small group communication because then I really could go into each and every tool. But we have things like the force field analysis, which shows competing forces for change. We have check sheets that show us which step we're on and how many pieces of research we've used. There's little post-it notes that you can use for multi-votes. How many people are for this in the group? How many people are not for a certain thing? We have mapping, brainstorm mapping. We have calendars and flow charts. And we should all be looking at these tools. So whether they're up on the whiteboard or everybody passes out one, everybody should be looking at the same thing